You have 3.8 year experience, right?
Yes, almost 4 now.
Okay, okay. So please tell me about yourself. Just to give a short description, technology and what kind of things you are using. So that need to be only.
Okay, okay. So my name is Vikas Pathak. I'm currently working with a company called Ioneers.
Mm-hmm,
It's a German-based startup working in the supply chain domain.
mm-hmm.
So I am a Python developer basically, and over here the technologies that I use is Python, Postgres, Airflow, Azure Databricks, Azure storage services.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then we also use Mongo in some places. Yeah.
So you are using MongoDB also, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So so you are mostly worked on Python, right?
Yes. Mostly on Python, Flask, and now I'm also working in a project which uses. So we are building this GPT kind of thing, which uses this OpenAI. Uh, what you can say, OpenAI
Okay,
APIs,
okay, okay. Means you are working in
Gen AI.
artificial intelligence, right?
Yes. Yes. In generative AI space.
Okay. So, what do you think about in Python list, tuple, and dictionary?
Okay, so yeah, I mean these are data structures in Python. In list is basically a uh, an ordered uh,
Mm-hmm.
kind of data structure in which like in C you had your arrays. So similar to that in Python you have a list.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Tuple is also like a list, but it is like immutable. You cannot modify it. You cannot change its state.
Mm-hmm.
And then dictionary is like in Java we have this hash map thing. So it's
Mm-hmm.
a collection of key value pairs. So earlier, like the dictionaries or hash map are always considered as unordered.
Mm-hmm.
But in recent versions of Python, it maintains the insertion order in Python dictionary.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
Python only use most of these three collection framework, means list, tuple, and dictionary, right?
We use set as well.
Set.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Set is like where you can have where you need to do operations where you need to work with distinct set of elements,
Mm-hmm.
and then you need to basically check. Let's say you have two sets. What is in this set and what is not in this set. Then you can use the set difference. Like with set you can perform different operations.
Okay. Okay.
Intersection.
Okay.
You
So, what is difference between shallow copy and deep copy in Python?
Okay, so in shallow copy is just like there's a variable which points to a particular memory location,
Mm-hmm.
and in shallow copy you just create another variable which points to the same memory location.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's say the first variable is a, you update its value from 5 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Even the second variable b
Mm-hmm.
value will also get updated because it is pointing to the same memory location.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in deep copy, different memory blocks are allocated for each variable. So the update in first variable does not change the value in second variable. So
So,
that's
Python multithreading concept?
yes, yes,
So,
yes.
how it
I
is work?
so uh, yeah. So in Python there is the in Python there is this thing called the global interpreter lock.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the Python interpreter it acquires. So if let's say if you have a multi-threaded program which uses 4 threads,
Mm-hmm.
so the Python interpreter firstly like your first thread acquires the global interpreter lock, and
Mm-hmm.
then it starts execution,
Mm-hmm.
and then uh, I think there is some time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly, like 5 milliseconds or something. Then it decided to switch to another thread. So while switching, it
Is
releases the lock. Another thread acquires the lock,
I
which
think
is
you telling about sleep method, right?
not sleep. I'm telling you about how like multi-threading works in Python.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, which is why, because it has to acquire the global interpreter log and release it. It is often termed in like Python, the multi-threading thing is uh, not very like highly regarded. It is said that it is a pseudo multi-threading. Uh,
Okay. So how do you manage garbage collection in Python?
in Python, we do have explicit ways to free the allocated memory spaces, like delete, as far as I remember. But Python has its own implicit garbage collector.
Okay.
So basically, it maintains the reference count of that memory location,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and if when the reference count becomes zero, then it frees that memory space.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you know Numbi array and nested array, a nested list.
Which array? Can you repeat?
Numpy, Numpy.
Oh yes, yes. I know about NumPy arrays. Yeah, I know about them.
So what is use of this? You know or not? So I can move to next question.
Yeah, I've used NumPy arrays. So basically, mostly in machine learning, you can define a high dimensional, n dimensional arrays,
Uh-huh.
vectors or matrices that you have, matrix you can define using NumPy. Is mostly used in machine learning projects or problem statements.
So you know about Danjo architecture of Python?
Uh,
Danjo,
can you?
Danjo,
Uh,
Dango
uh,
or Danjo. What do you think about that?
so basically, Django is a web development framework
Hmm.
in Python. So it is like Flask. Also, Flask is also web development, but Django is like a more heavyweight. So when you create a Django project,
Hmm.
it automatically creates the project directory structure for you, and then you just need to start coding and start adding your stuff into it.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, uh, I think it is
So
used.
how do you define private, protected, and global variable in Python? You have
Okay.
any symbol?
Hmm. So, like in Python classes, unlike Java, there's the
Yeah.
concept of private and protected is not there.
Hmm.
But you can use, like, for private, you can use double underscore, and for
Hmm.
protected, you can use single underscore,
Hmm.
just to uh, convey that this is a protected variable, to convey
Yes,
this.
yes, yes, yes.
And global, so let's say you have a function defined, and in the same file at the top, if you have defined a variable
Hmm.
inside your function, if you want to use the same variable, then you just use the global keyword.
Hmm.
So let's say you defined a equal to 10, and you defined a function. Inside the function, you just say global a.
Hmm.
Now this function knows that when it says a, it is referring to the global variable a.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So pickling, unpickling. You know about the pickling and unpickling.
Yes, yes, yes.
So what is differences between this?
Pickling is basically when you want to save the values or your Python objects,
Hmm.
okay, as files. So let's say you created a machine learning model, or let's say you just defined that simple dictionary in Python.
Hmm.
Now you want to save it as a file, and without like altering its data type or something. Like, of course, you can save it in a text file, but like if you have numbers, it may get converted to string, and it can mess up with the data quality.
Hmm.
If you want to save it as is, you just pickle it, and then at a later point, you can just unpickle the file. We have these libraries.
Hmm.
We have joblib, and yeah, you can unpickle them, and you can store them back as Python variables. So yeah, it's a very convenient way of saving and retrieving without
So do
altering the.
you know about the memory management concept of this Python? How memory manage in Python?
How memory is managed. No, I don't know much about it.
Okay.
Sorry.
I think Python is also follow the OOPS concept, right?
Yeah, yes, yes, yeah.
So, what do you think about the OOP concept? So, I think you will get knowledge about this memory management.
I mean, what do I know about OOPS?
OOPs, yes.
Yeah, I mean, OOPS is object-oriented programming. You can represent your in your problem statement whatever nouns you have, you can represent them as classes. Whatever actions that you want to do with those objects, you can define as methods in those classes. Then in OOPS, there's concepts like inheritance, there's polymorphism. You can use these concepts to make a very modular and well-structured code base. Uh,
So,
yeah.
what do you think about encapsulation and abstraction?
So encapsulation is basically you combine the data variables, like the instance variables and the methods together in a class. You
Mm-hmm.
put them inside a capsule. That's why it's encapsulation.
Okay.
Uh, Abstraction is like, let's say, I define a class of, let's say, I'm writing some booking system, like seat reservation system, and I have a class called uh, payment, and then in that I have a method called pay.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't need to know the inner details, like how that pay method works. I'll just, if I'm the user of that class, I'll just call the method pay, and I will be ensured that this will do its job and do the payment and return me a receipt. So I just need to take care of the input and the output that it gives. I don't need to know the inner details of how that pay method works.
Okay.
So that's abstraction.
Do you know how to? I think you also have written some REST API through the Python
Yes, yes, yes. Using Flask.
Flask. So can
Yes.
you brief description how what things need to be do for writing REST API, just to give the overall communication between UI, controller, and
hmm
model, how it is work, how
Yeah,
to
yeah,
write
yeah.
REST API, what kind of things you will do that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hmm.
So in the use case that I used, so the front end was developed in AngularJS, and on the back end we had the Flask Python backend, and we also use the Postgres database.
Hmm.
So to represent the tables in the Postgres database, we defined models in Flask.
Hmm.
So each table was represented by its own class.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
uh, and then we used an ORM called SQL Alchemy. So ORM is basically the object representation of your database tables,
Hmm.
and then we use another library called Alembic, using which you can run migrations. So migrations are basically, you can define your models, and then when you run the migrations, those change, like the defined models are reflected onto your database.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
and then there are different versions maintained of this migration.
Hmm.
So this is how, like, the database management part was
Hmm.
with Flask.
Hmm.
Then you define your controllers, wherein, like, you can define your routes,
Hmm.
like,
Yes.
let's say slash login slash whatever, and then you can define your business logic within it. And then you can, if you don't need to write raw SQL queries, you can just use ORM queries
Hmm.
to fetch the data, process the user request, and return back the HTTP response. Then, yeah, then you use also the HTTP codes, like,
Means
if the
means you want to say directly you can write the query as a scripting query, right?
as what
Scripting query, right, in controller. So it will connect and get the data from the database, right? Scripting query, or you use
ORM.
model ORM, right?
Yeah, ORM queries you can write, like in a Pythonic syntax only you can query the database. All you need to do is, when you initialize your Flask application, you need to just initialize your database object.
Can you
Uh,
write here how to write query?
how to write query,
Just to
an
give the
ORM query,
syntax.
an ORM query.
ORM query, yes, yes. Just to give the syntax. Suppose
Okay.
you assume any model, any table. So based on this, how to write this query?
Okay. So let's say. There's a model called I don't know, rules, something like this.
You
And
give the name of rule also, not a problem.
yeah, and then you want to, let's say, uh, filter based on some name, like rule named. You want to search for a rule named
That you
Vikas,
are using.
let's say. Yeah, so then you will write something like this. Yeah, I've used this syntax, but I may be here and there with this syntax right now. And then you just define as a dictionary like this name and then Vikas. So this rules is your model, and these are the ORM methods.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you just do something like this. Here you will store in a Python variable. Then you can iterate over them. You can convert them to a dictionary, and yeah,
Okay. Great, great.
yeah.
And next question to you. So, differences between get and post?
Yes. So get is basically when the client, as in the most cases it's the front end, or maybe an application like Postman. You just want to fetch the details. You don't want to update or add any or delete any data in your database.
Mm-hmm.
So that is when you use get operations. And then post is so in get operation you don't send any request body. You just whatever inputs you send via the query parameters.
Mm-hmm.
In post you can a proper JSON request body you can send, and then let's say you have to add a new rule or add a new user in the system. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, or update a user or delete or update a user. Yeah, then you can use post. There's
So,
also put.
what is default size of URL data in get?
I knew this. It's yeah. There is a limitation to it,
Mm-hmm.
which is why in our project many a times when the URL was getting too big, we switched some of our get requests to post, even though they were
No,
actually get requests.
so that's why I'm asking. This is the main reason
Yeah, I
because
don't
of
remember the exact value.
uh,
Yeah, there
because
is
of
some limit. Yeah.
because of if you want to chunk data, you want to insert in database. So it is not good concept using the get because
Yeah,
of
yeah,
get also security concern
exactly. It's everything is open
and
to.
the size of get through URL is have 1024 byte.
Okay.
Not take from this more than this.
Okay.
Otherwise, your system bit not allowed to
Mm-hmm.
passing query data from the URL if the size is going over
Mm-hmm.
1024.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Yeah.
main difference. Other thing no. You can through get you can update, through get you can insert also. This is
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I think
Yeah.
you have written some dummy project by using get or something. So
Yeah.
insertion and deletion and updation we can do through the get. The main behind this reason.
Yeah. Main is the limitation and the
Size concern, limitation concern, and
yeah
security concern.
security concern.
Okay, so that's why I asked you the differences.
Okay. Thank you.
And post data you never will show in URL like
Yes.
that in browser, but get you can present.
Yes.
So this is the difference. These things only needed. That's why we are mostly not using. For reading aspect, I using get only because of
Yeah.
reading data. No will interrupt, no will touch any kind of things, right?
Hmm.
Because of this is retrieved from the backend, not going to the backend.
Yes.
Only fraudulent or put the script for inserting or deleting or updating concept.
Hmm.
So here will only touch. Suppose you want to, you have some transaction from your account to another account. So
Mm-hmm.
that query, if you are firing, so another account, suppose fraudulent had put it on account. Okay, so in that case, that money will transfer on fraudulent account.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you know some application security related to this, how to secure it, like that cross scripting, CSRF and XSS.
I don't know much about it, CSRF tokens and all. I know about like in our application we use
So
OAuth.
XSS, you use XSS? Not.
No.
No, XSS basically this is scripting. Suppose some special character you want to decrypt
Mm-hmm.
through your program, either in filter, whatever you pre-post or after post. So here you can like that restrict to the special character. So that special character, through this special character, hackers will hack your session of this application.
Hmm.
That's why we
Okay.
are using to these things.
Okay.
So okay, no problem.
Hmm.
So in database side, you have used MySQL, right?
Postgres.
Postgres.
Yes.
So in Postgres, suppose you know the join.
Yes.
So which scenario we use to inner join, which scenario used to outer join, outer means left join, right join,
Mm-hmm.
and cross join. You know about these things?
Yeah, yeah, I know, I know, I know. So
Can you explain about that?
yes, I can. So let's say like you have two tables. Let's say customers.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's another table you have orders, and in
Mm-hmm.
that let's say you have customer ID column as foreign key in the orders table.
Mm-hmm.
And now let's say there are some customers who have placed the order, so
Mm-hmm.
their entries are there in the orders table. There are some customers who have not placed the order. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if you want to find out which customers have placed the order, so
Mm-hmm.
what you will do is you will do a inner join between customers table and orders table. You
Mm-hmm.
will get to know the intersection of them. If you want to know which customers have not placed the order, then you can do a left join, and then you can say like in orders table after the join, wherever the customer ID will be null,
Mm-hmm.
there you can say that the customers for those orders, the customers like sorry,
So you can write here query.
yeah, I can
Yeah, you
write.
write. Suppose you two table. You just write a customer and a employee. Okay,
Employee or customers?
employee and customer. You just match with the ID. Employee means Customer ID as a employee ID. Okay,
Customers and employees, two tables. You
two
mean?
tables. Yes, you
Okay.
just to write the syntax only. I'm not asking to.
Okay. So is it like customer ID is a foreign key in this,
Mm,
right?
mm,
So let's say you want to write an inner join query. So what you will do is maybe you'll just say from customer C inner join employees E on, and then you will say C dot ID on, sorry, equals E dot customer ID. Uh,
okay, okay,
you
great.
can some put somewhere as well.
So suppose I need one more query related to third ISLA. How to write this query from employee table? Third
Third
ISLA.
will yes, but like for which column? Third highest value.
In employee table, suppose you have employee ID, employee name, salary. So
Okay.
I want to get the max salary. Just to write in below, line number 17. You write the fresh query.
You want the max
Max
or third?
third cell, max third cell means max
Okay.
third ISL.
Okay. Okay. So what you can do is select distinct salary from employees order by salary by default. Uh, so third I guess so you will use the descending
Mm-hmm.
order and then you will just do limit 3. So this will give you the like the 3 I guess or something like this like
Okay.
10,000, 9,000, 8,000.
Okay. 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 Great.
Hmm.
Great. 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 So, I just need to ask one programming question to you. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So this is the last. This is the last question to you. This is a programmatically question. This will be.
Hmm.
Uh, just I am writing here. Find the.
So in the chat,
Yeah, just I am writing.
okay.
Find the highest number from the array by using Python program. So this is our question. Find the highest number from array by using Python program.
Okay.
So array just for example you can take array according to you. Uh,
Find the highest number from array by using. Uh,
any array just to write suppose um, 1 2
like
3 4 5 6. So 6 is highest, so how do you find? You any type you can take. Means if you taken 4, yeah, okay, so here need to be get the highest 4.
yes.
So how
So
to
you can use
find?
built-in methods also like max and
No,
all.
no, no.
Right?
Build not use because a build use. So this is will be one line. Just you write on logic.
Yes. Let's say let's assume initially the max is a of 0,
Hmm.
and then you